Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? This is your coach Renz, and today what I want to talk to you about is the whole thing with Black Lives Matter, our dollars matter, the police shootings, that sort of thing. If you saw the title, it says that I don't blame the cops. I don't. I don't blame the cops. I don't blame white America. I don't blame the government. I don't blame any of those things. And yes, you can go through history where historically this, historically that, and people have put this, these kind of statistics in the criminal justice system and the prison system. Yes, we can have a debate and discuss that all day long. But to discuss that all day long is not solution oriented. We could talk about NFL players and other athletes, how they're kneeling and the flag and all of that. And we can talk about the protests that are going on in Charlotte. We can do that all day long, but it won't solve the problem. We can also talk about how all these other speakers are about to come out and they're going to start rallying up and they're going to start giving their little speeches and making their videos talking about, the systematic oppression of the black man and the viewpoint of white America towards the menacing of the black man and all these different kinds of things. And they're going to have their speeches, they're going to have their talks, they're going to try to sit down with people and talk to people. And at the end of the day, none of that will matter because it's not the solution. I gave you guys a solution a couple of days ago, but nobody wants to hear it. I looked at the reviews. There are a number of people who viewed that one, and nobody wanted to listen to it, 37 people. Whereas other videos can get 3, 4, 5, 800 views on them. And if somebody put a video about somebody doing something stupid, fighting, we're going to watch that. If some actor puts out something, we're going to watch that too, which is stupid. Because guess what? It doesn't provide a solution. It doesn't matter that an NFL player stood up in there and said, I'm not taking any questions and I'm just going to say what I have to say. Because at the end of the day, that's not a solution. There is but one solution. But one that I'm willing to talk about. There's two, but there's one that I'm willing to talk about. And then what is that one? That one is the people that I'm most angry about for this situation being able to perpetuate itself. And first, let me give you a little bit of historical background as to why I'm angry with this one group of people who can solve this situation, but they refuse to do it. You see, back in the day when we wanted to be able to have our voting rights and we wanted to not sit in the back of the bus, we was, segregation, and we want to get rid of segregation. Yes, we had the Black Panthers, and they stood up and they had their guns and they knew the law. But they weren't the ones that the government was most afraid of, and they weren't the ones that were the catalyst to bring about change, social change, that made people stand up and recognize who otherwise would not have done a thing. So all this voting for a Democrat or a Republican doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, you're going to vote for them and they're not going to do a damn thing for you. You're going to talk about your state legislatures and your local city council people, but they ain't doing a damn thing for you. But you're going to keep voting for them and acting like your vote is really making a difference when in truth it's not. And I know you're going to say that people died for our right to vote, but think about it. Those people died, but they were doing something before they died. They were doing something before the Voting Rights Act and all those things came about. So what was going on? What's the history of it? Yeah, the Black Panthers, they served their purpose, and I thank them for being men and women who stood up and did what they did, because they did strike a nerve and scare the hell out of some people. But always it doesn't take, that's not the kind of fear that scares the hell out of people, because I'm telling you right now, if every black person went and picked up a gun and tried to stand and hold a city like Atlanta, you give me a battalion of Marines and I'll take that city right back. So the truth, can we fight a physical war? Hell no. No, it wouldn't work that way. So how did you solve this problem? You can't solve this problem by waiting for somebody to have a humanitarian feeling towards you, which is the thing that you're begging for when you kneel down or sit down and don't stand for a flag, or you go vote for somebody, or you stand there and protest and block a highway. You're waiting for somebody to have an emotional humanitarian feel for you, but people don't respect that. Ask yourself the question, why is it that you don't see a bunch of Jews getting shot and killed on the street every day? Why do you not see a bunch of white guys getting shot and killed? And I'm talking about high profile, well-to-do, upper middle class neighborhood white people getting killed every day? Why do you not see the Asian community getting shot and killed on the street, or being profiled as a menace or the big bad dude? Why do you not see that? You don't see it because they have a certain respect that they demanded and that they captured and they got. And this is the problem. This is the group that I cannot stand. This is the group that is perpetuating this problem over and over again. You see, the idea and the respect towards the black man is never going to change until you change the community. You see, those who did make a difference, those who scared the hell out of the government, was your Malcolm X and your Martin Luther Kings. They scared the hell out of them because they started talking about social and economic power. They talked about economic power. That's what scared the hell out of them. As long as they wanted to sit peacefully, they didn't care. As long as they wanted to protest, they didn't care. But as soon as they started talking about controlling their dollar, controlling their economics, then they cared. Why do you think they bombed the Black Wall Street? Because they cared about you having financial power. But who's to blame for that? Just think about it. It's clergy. Clergy were the ones who were able to stop this. Sorry, my phone was buzzing. But clergy is the ones who was able to stop it. Clergy is the ones who were able to stand there and go and get the people there. But what did that clergy do? Did they sit there and say, let's pray, let's hope, let's plead with, let's go out and vote, let's go hold hands together? Did they say, let's stand and have community conversations? Did they stand and do any of those things? Hell no. Hell no, they didn't do that. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X didn't do that. You see, you clergy people right now, you sit there and what you are so afraid to do is to get economic in your church. No, you'll have your 1 week where you talk about black business or business in your church. You'll have that 1 week or one day where you'll have that little class, or you talk about buying a house. You'll have that one program that's outside of your normal service where the majority of people are. You'll have that one opportunity to do that. But as much as you talk about tithes and gift giving, you should be talking about circulating money within your church and those business people in your church, hiring the people in your church and building up your community. Now, if you did that and each church circulated the money within the church and built the businesses within their church groups, and the congregation then was hired by those people, and that money kept revolving, guess what you create? You create a power base, a financial power base that now people have to stand up and pay attention. But you won't do that. You won't do that because you're too busy trying to get it in your pocket. And the people that I really blame is the congregation who sits there and allows this. You see, if I came to any of your churches or your mosque and you try to get me to join, but you don't talk about supporting the businesses within your church on a weekly basis as much as you talk about paying them tithes and giving that offering, you can't have me in your church. Because you're not building a community. You're building something that's based on a hope, that waiting for the hereafter. Like they said in Color Purple, you better go get yours now and stop waiting for the hereafter. Bust Mr. upside the head. But y'all won't do that. You too afraid. Matter of fact, you ain't afraid. You just sheep. That's the plain and simple. You just sheep. You just sheep headed for the slaughter, and then you're gonna bad a little bit and complain, but that's it. So that's who I blame. And that's who I'm mad at. So y'all might get mad at me, but I really don't give a damn. So I know my greatness is non-negotiable. My question is yours? Is your community non-negotiable? Is your black son and daughter non-negotiable? Then get your clergy to do the right thing. Stop being a fool and a sheep.